Good evening, wherever you are in Brazil or anywhere in the world. I am João Evangelista from the Banco Central do Brasil, and I will be your host today for the launch event of the G20 Techsprint 2024. I would like to start by expressing our greetings to the Governor of Banco Central do Brasil, BCB, Mr. Roberto Campos Neto, and Deputy Governors Paulo Piketty, participating online from São Paulo, and Renato Gomes. Our greetings to the General Manager of the Bank for International Settlements, BIS, Mr. Agustin Carstens. Our greetings to the President of the Inter-American Development Bank, IDB, Mr. Ilan Goldfein, and to the Acting Head of the Sustainability and International Portfolio Investors Unit from the BCB, Ms. Maria Beatriz Costa. I would also like to express our greetings to the panel participants, the head of the BIS Innovation Hub in Hong Kong, Ms. Benedict Nolans, the head of the Office for Investor Protection and Assistance from Brazil's Security and Exchange Commission, CVM, Ms. Nathalie Vidual, and the coordinator of BCB's DREX initiative, Mr. Fábio Araújo. At last, but not least, I would like to extend our greetings to the members of the G20 ministries and central banks, Brazilian government officials participating in this event, the audience present in the auditorium of the BCB in Brasilia, and all the participants who have joined us online today around the world for the launch of the G20 Techsprint 2024. The G20 Techsprint is a global competition, a hackathon, organized by the BIS and the G20 presidency to seek for public and private collaboration to bring forward technology solutions to global challenges identified by the central banking community. Under Brazil's G20 presidency, the Banco Central do Brasil and the BIS Innovation Hub Hong Kong have come together to seek for the best-in-class technology solutions to address central banks and other regulators' challenges on sustainable finance. With this fifth edition of the G20 Techsprint, we want to rely on technology to bring innovative solutions that accelerate the development of sustainable finance, favoring the achievement of the Sustainable Development Goals, SDGs. For the G20 Techsprint 2024, we have the support of the Inter-American Development Bank, IDB, the IDB Lab, and FENASBAC. The G20 Techsprint launch event is live on the BCB YouTube channel and will be available on the BCB website, where you can also find all the information and contact details regarding the competition. On that note, I now invite the Governor of the Banco Central do Brasil, Mr. Roberto Campos Neto, for his welcome remarks.
Thank you. Good morning, everyone. Ladies and gentlemen, distinguished entrepreneurs, my dear colleagues from the G20, as well as colleagues from Bank of International Settlements, BIS, the Inter-American Bank, IDB, Comissão de Valores Imobiliários, CVM, and other international organizations, and my fellow colleagues from Banco Central do Brasil and the Brazilian government. It is a pleasure to speak to you today at the launch of this noteworthy G20 event. The Techsprint is a joint initiative between the G20 presidents and the BIS. I would like to thank the BIS Innovation Hub, which organized this event with the Central Bank of Brazil. I would also like to thank IDB, IDB Lab, and FENASBAC for their support to this initiative. During Brazil's G20 presidency, this 50th edition of the Techsprint reaffirms the Brazil and Central Bank of Brazil commitment to sustainability agenda and our goal to foster financial innovation that can positively transform our reality. The motto of the G20 Brazilian presidents and the priorities of the G20 Sustainable Finance Working Group are reflected in the problem statements that were drafted for this edition of the Techsprint. The problem statements will be discussed in more detail during the panel. In a world facing unprecedented climatic, environmental, and social challenges, the role of sustainable finance is essential to mobilize the required funds for a new and more sustainable economy. In the case of central banks, this agenda is important because sustainability-related issues have the potential to affect their two main missions, the monetary policy and financial stability. For instance, heat waves, frost, droughts, and other climate events can affect food and energy prices with significant impact on inflation and pose challenges for soundness of the financial system. In the long term, these shocks can also have lasting effects, affecting productivity and the long-term economic growth. The Central Bank of Brazil has long known the importance of sustainability. In September of 2020, the Central Bank of Brazil launched the sustainability dimension of its strategic agenda, known as BCB-, with a set of concrete measures and objectives. Since then, we have already implemented within our mandate a broad set of actions with concrete results. These initiatives are constantly evolving. It is worth mentioning recent developments and new actions. The Green Bureau. One of the central bank's most important ongoing action is the Green Bureau. This initiative seeks to define sustainability criteria applicable to rural credit concessions, which allow the identification of rural credit operations that have social, environmental, or climatic characteristics, making it possible to grant additional resources to finance sustainable projects. The BCB is also taking part in some initiatives included in the Ecological Transformation Plan launched by the federal government. As part of the actions, the central bank recently signed an agreement with the IDB aiming at providing foreign exchange for investments in sustainable infrastructure projects in Brazil. The central bank will act as intermediary agent of the FX hedge instruments between the IDB and local financial institutions, which channel them to projects that promote ecological transitions. Other important current action of this plan involving the central bank in the development of the Brazilian sustainable taxonomy. Here we are talking about the sustainable taxonomy. This taxonomy will allow the mobilization of public and private financing and investments toward economic activities with positive environmental, climate, and social impacts. Now moving to the disclosure part. The disclosure of the climate and social environmental information by financial institutions, which is mandatory in Brazil, is another important ongoing work of the Central Bank of Brazil. In late March, the Central Bank launched a public consultation aimed at improving the regulation on disclosure of information, incorporating quantitative aspects. Moving to technology and financial innovation. In our agenda of initiatives, technology has played a strategic role. Our instant payment system, PIX, for instance, has been instrumental for financial inclusion. We are reaching almost 200 million transactions per day for a population of 115 million with bank accounts. We are confident that Open Finance Initiative with instant comparability and portability will also transform the financial system. We are also developing the infrastructure for digital currency, DREX, which will bring benefits in 3 dimensions. First, the model aims to move towards a tokenized economy. Second, it will increase the efficiency of financial intermediation. Third, there will be improvements in the contract registration process. In this context, our aim is that the Techsprint 2024 explores the potential of innovative technology to significantly scale up sustainable finance solutions. In this edition, the Techsprint will seek our technology solutions to improve the trading of green assets and make them available to a broader base of investors. To conclude, I want to reaffirm that the Techsprint is a global platform offering a unique opportunity for productive partnership between the public and private sector, as well as regulators, innovators, the academia, civil society, government, and the market. On behalf of Brazil and the Central Bank of Brazil, I'm honored and welcome and encourage participation from the global community of experts in this endeavor, thereby making a positive impact on the financial world. Participants will have the chance to work with individuals from diverse backgrounds and with different experiences. skill sets, and perspectives. I invite you all to join this global hackathon, bringing your skills, creativity, and passion to the table, and to work with us to create a positive change. I'm confident that you provide a transformative, innovative solution that will go a long way in changing the course of the financial system, making it more inclusive and sustainable. Thank you.
Thank you, Governor, for the warm and contextual welcome. We will now have the keynote address by Mr. Agustin Carstens, General Manager of the BIS, who has pre-recorded his message for this special occasion.
Governor Roberto Campos Neto, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, it is a pleasure to join you today for the launch of the G20 Techsprint, albeit virtually.
Governor Roberto
Let me start
Campos
by
Neto,
congratulating
distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. It is a pleasure to join you today for the launch of the G20 Techsprint, albeit virtually. Let me start by congratulating Banco Central do Brasil and Governor Campos Neto for their outstanding leadership in the field of innovation in financial technology and supporting global innovation initiatives such as the G20 Techsprint. This is the fifth collaboration between the Bank for International Settlements and the G20 presidency and happens in an important moment in our collective pursuit of sustainable finance. The G20 Techsprint has become a point of convergence for innovation and global collaboration, fostering dialogue and actions to address some of the most pressing challenges of our time. Each of the four previous editions have addressed a priority identified by the G20 presidency. Last year, under India's presidency, we focused on enhancing cross-border payments. In the previous year, in Indonesia's presidency, we explored technologies to facilitate central bank digital currencies. In the first edition under the Saudi presidency, the Techsprint focused on RegTech and SupTech regulation. This year's main topic brings us closer to the 2022 edition under Italy's leadership, which was dedicated to exploring technologies for green and sustainable development. We convene for this fifth edition with an increasingly urgent imperative: the Sustainable Development Goals, or SDGs, and sustainable finance. This year's theme underscores our collective commitment to advancing the principles of sustainability and resilience in the financial sector. Finance can play a critical role in achieving positive environmental and social outcomes. Much progress has been made in the SDGs since their inception in 2012 in Brazil as well, but tremendous challenges remain. Three stand out in particular: the complexities about reporting and complying with environmental, social, and governance data, the barriers to scaling nature-based solutions, and accelerating progress towards the SDGs. These challenges hinder our ability to mobilize capital effectively and pose risks to the long-term stability and sustainability of our financial systems, and therefore to society at large. The BIS is tasked with promoting global monetary and financial stability through international cooperation and through innovation. The BIS Innovation Hub embodies this approach with its unique ability to bring together central banks, private financial institutions, and, of course, the technology sector. The Innovation Hub has been committed to finding innovative technological solutions for many challenges problems in the financial landscape across different themes, including green and sustainable finance. So let me briefly mention a few initiatives. Project Genesis explored the use of blockchain smart contracts, and Internet of Things to increase transparency on the green bond and carbon markets. Project Gaia used AI to improve climate and environmental risk assessments based on public corporate reports. Project Viridis built a tool to provide banking supervisions with insights into climate-related financial risks. Project Symbiosis, recently launched, aims to reduce the sustainability data gap in supply chains and facilitate transition finance. These projects exemplify our commitment to driving innovation in sustainable and green finance, paving the way for a more resilient and inclusive financial system. And we do so in collaboration with central banks, the financial sector, and innovators. The G20 Techsprint provides us with a unique opportunity to harness the collective intelligence and creativity of the technology community to develop actionable solutions to the challenges we face. Let us look at this year's 3 problem statements. In the first one, we want to stimulate the widespread adoption and scaling of nature-based solutions, such as sustainable forestry, regenerative agriculture, and ecosystem restoration. It is of much importance for a country like Brazil, home to one of the largest biomes in the world, with a rich biodiversity. The second area is ESG data. We're calling for innovative technologies that enhance the collection, aggregation, and analysis of ESG data. This will facilitate due diligence, disclosure, and management of risks. It is also important to see if solutions can handle physical risks, such as climate impacts on assets and operations, and also transition risks associated with shifting towards a low-carbon economy. Finally, the third statement hopes to find open-sourced and data-driven solutions to support financial decisions on capital allocation aligned with the SDGs and financial inclusion. From preserving biodiversity to pursuing clean energy, from eradicating poverty to ensuring clean water, these goals are urgent. It is also important to consider that financial inclusion and education can help achieving these goals and supporting the overall financial health and economy. Let me conclude. Central banks are mostly seen as guardians of financial stability. They are also embracing their role as catalysts for change, knowing that innovation is not a threat, but an opportunity to enhance efficiency, resilience, and inclusivity. The Techsprint is an example of how to put this catalyst role into practice, bringing together the official and private sector to cooperate. Let us ideate and develop prototypes with purpose, innovate with empathy, and build a financial ecosystem that benefits the society and planet. To our innovators, I say, come together not so much as competitors, but as collaborators united by a common purpose to build a more resilient, inclusive, and sustainable financial system. You can make a tangible difference in the realm of sustainable finance. Your ideas can be a force for good. Your solutions can drive inclusivity, promote green investments, tackle climate change risks, and uplift marginalized communities. I look forward to the innovative ideas that will come out of this initiative and extend my wishes for a transformative and successful G20 Techsprint. Thank you. Molto obrigado, Roberto, equipo do Banco Central do Brasil.
Who will join us virtually.
Bom dia. Good morning. It's a pleasure to be here. I see the auditorium that I used to see for several years. I'm seeing my good friend Roberto Campos. I just heard my good friend Agustin. I saw Gabriel, a lot of very known friends. So I'm very happy to be here. I would like to thank the G20 presidency, the Central Bank of Brazil, the BIS Innovation Hub for launching this G20 Techsprint. It looks for the best technological innovations for one of the most important, biggest challenges around. We are honored to sponsor the G20 Techsprint. This year, 3 topics. All of the topics have to do with our work: nature-based solutions, environmental, social, and governance, the SDG, our goals for the 2030. I would like to spend a few moments on the SDGs. As you know, we are about late. Approximately, we have 140 targets under the SDGs that can be evaluated, and half of them show moderate or severe deviation from the desired path. In order to make progress, we need to do more. We need to come together. We need to present ideas. We need to innovate. So I encourage all the innovators listening to us to bring forward these fresh solutions to all of these challenges that we are laying today. At the IDB, we are advancing that because we know it requires a system-wide approach. We are doing it in 3 ways. First, at the IDB, we are transforming the IDB. Recently, we announced 3 historic transformations. We call the historic transformations the IDB Impact Plus. That's on our new strategy with our goals, our reforms, a capitalization of our private sector arm, the IDB Invest Plus, and a new vision, a business model, and up to $400 million in additional resources to our IDB lab. Second, we're going beyond IDB. We are leading the work as a president of the heads of MDBs. Just last week, this Saturday, we announced a joint work with 10 MDBs on a note, a viewpoint note, that outline key deliverables for joint and coordinated work for 2024 and beyond to progress towards the SDGs. That was announced. And this viewpoint note will serve as a key input for the G20 roadmap for MDBs to evolve into a better, bigger, and more effective system. We look forward to working with the G20 presidency on this effort. Finally, we are doubling our work with partners. We signed a memorandum of understanding with BIS. And just last week, during the spring meetings of the IMF and the World Bank, we launched our fully scalable settlement engine, or FUSI. This is the first project. We will offer central banks as an open source technology that will facilitate and enhance their work. We also have a partnership with the Central Bank of Brazil on the hedging currency with the Ministry of Finance. So we are looking into partnership to find joint solutions to the global challenges. So in closing, we will need an all-hands approach to solving our shared global challenges and making progress on the SDGs and other challenges. We will continue to lead work at the IDB through partnership, transformations at home at the IDB, and our reforms as heads of the MDB system. But we also need new ideas and innovations. We look forward to seeing the solutions the G20 Techsprint Innovatives proposed in November. Happy innovating. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Goldfein. Technology provides new and creative solutions that are transforming the world. Climate change and the loss of biodiversity are increasingly affecting individuals in every single country, therefore demanding a global effort. We know that climate change exacerbates social inequalities and has disproportionate effects on the global south. More broadly, attaining SDGs is crucial for a more equitable world. To monitor our progress and make sound investment decisions, reliable ESG data is critical. We are looking forward to the solutions that you, participants, will offer that will address some of the problems laid out here today. We now invite you to watch a video for the launch of the G20 Techsprint 2024.
In a world facing unprecedented climatic, environmental, and social challenges, the role of sustainable finance is essential to mobilize the required funds for a new and more sustainable economy. For example, it is estimated that investment of at least $4 to $6 trillion per year will be required for a global transformation to a low-carbon economy in line with Paris Agreement objectives. Also, central banks have increasingly included climate risks in their analyses because of the related financial risks and their effect on price stability and monetary policy, with climate change becoming a critical factor. Furthermore, nature and biodiversity are at risk, with up to 40% of the world's land already degraded. 1 million plant and animal species are at risk of extinction, and biodiversity loss is projected to accelerate through 2050. This issue is even more severe when we consider that more than half the world's population, over 4.3 billion people, depend on biodiversity for their livelihoods, with 70% of the world's poor and vulnerable population living in rural areas and depending directly on it. On the top of that, social challenges remain a source of top global risks, including the lack of economic opportunities, involuntary migrations, and societal polarization. To address this worldwide common problem, the objective of Brazil's G20 presidency in 2024 is building a just world and a sustainable planet, with the following priorities: fighting hunger, poverty, and inequality. The three dimensions of sustainable development: economic, social and environmental, and global governance reform. In this context, under the Brazilian G20 presidency, Banco Central do Brasil and the BIS Innovation Hub will launch the 5th edition of the G20 Techsprint in 2024. The goal of this initiative is to explore the potential of innovative technologies to significantly scale up sustainable finance solutions. As a part of the annual G20 integral event, the 2024 long-form Hackathon G20 Techsprint invites competitors from across the world to submit proposals to develop and showcase innovative technology solutions that can address the following challenges: nature-based solutions, NBS, novel technology solutions to foster investments in biodiversity and nature-related projects, environmental, social, and governance, ESG, novel technology solutions to improve the quality, reliability, and granularity of ESG data, Sustainable Development Goals, SDGs, open-sourced solutions to achieve sustainable finance and support the SDG goals. We highlight the importance of solutions on financial education and inclusion as enablers of the SDGs. Each team must register and submit their complete proposal before the deadline of the 31st of May, 2024. After that, shortlisted teams will be invited to develop prototypes of solutions, which will be judged by an eminent jury. The winner in each individual category will be announced in an in-person event with the governor and deputies of Banco Central do Brasil, and will stand to win an attractive reward. In addition, the shortlisted teams will receive a stipend to cover the development and participation expenses. They will also have the opportunity to engage with eminent experts from the global financial community. G20 Techsprint proposal submission opens from the 25th of April 2024 onwards. You can find more information at the address you see on the screen. Join forces with other talented people and take part in this challenge. Join the G20 Techsprint 2024. Be a part of this one-of-a-kind global competition and contribute to revolutionizing the world of sustainable finance.
Thank you, Governor. Thank you, Deputy Governor, for your in-person participation in this event today. Moving forward with our agenda, we will now have a panel to deliver details on how the Techsprint works, what the challenges are for this year's competition, the due dates, how you can participate, and other relevant information about this global event. For the panel, I would like to invite Ms. Benedict Knowles, head of the BIS Innovation Hub, Hong Kong. The Hong Kong Center of the BIS Innovation Hub has been playing an important role in driving innovation with several initiatives focused on sustainability. Among these initiatives, I would like to highlight Project Genesis, focused on increasing transparency for green bonds combined with carbon forwards, and Project Symbiosis, recently launched, aiming at reducing the Scope 3 data gap. Both initiatives are led by Benedict. I'm also pleased to invite Ms. Nathalie Vidal, head of the Office for Investor Protection and Assistance at the CVM, the Brazilian Securities and Exchange Commission. The CVM is unequivocally committed to the sustainability agenda, and in 2023, created an Innovation and Sustainable Finance division to foster even further this agenda. The division is under the responsibility of Nathalie. And finally, I would like to welcome to our panel Mr. Fábio Araújo, the coordinator of BCB's DREX initiative. DREX is the BCB's central bank digital currency, CBDC. The BCB aims at promoting the efficiency of financial markets and financial inclusion through the implementation of DREX. The DREX platform will enable the population to access various types of financial transactions with digital assets and smart contracts. The BCB expects that the implementation of DREX will reduce the costs of traditional and innovative financial transactions, supporting ultimately the financial democratization. To moderate this panel, I'm very pleased to invite Ms. Maria Beatriz Costa, acting head of the Sustainability and International Portfolio Investors Unit from the Banco Central do Brasil. Beatriz, the floor is yours.
Good morning. It's a pleasure to be here today representing the Sustainability and International Portfolio Investors Unit. The head of the unit, Isabella Maia, was supposed to be moderating today, but unfortunately she caught dengue fever, and I'll be filling in for her. The broad context was already set out by our keynote speakers, so in this short panel discussion, the objective is to provide further details and expectations relative to this year's G20 Techsprint. Let me start with Benedict. Benedict, could you tell me more about the G20 collaboration, the G20 Techsprint, the history and the objective of this collaboration between the BIS and the G20 presidency? Also, what is the significance of the Techsprint for the fintechs, the participants here today? Thank you.
Thank you very much, moderator, and thank you everyone for having me here. It is my absolute honor, and it is the honor of the BIS to be working again for the 5th year in a row on this Techsprint with the G20 presidency. As noted, this is the 5th year that we are collaborating, so our history is 5 years. And we have consecutively worked with the various presidencies, including last year with the presidency of India and this year with yourselves. The objective of our collaboration in this Techsprint is obviously to bring forward innovation and specifically technology innovation on the intersection with specifically finance in the topics that are of the priority of the G20 presidency. And for this year, as explained by your governor, The focus of the presidency is on a just world and a sustainable planet. Therefore, this year's Techsprint is focused on 3 core areas that we found tie up very well with this thematic area. The first one being nature-based solutions and biodiversity, the second one being ESG, and the third one being the SDGs. In terms of the significance and specifically the opportunity for the private sector, this Techsprint is unique. It gives a unique platform to shine and make your vision known to the world. Your vision as to how these difficult problems can be addressed through the intersection of both finance and technology. As mentioned in the video that was presented to you, the planet needs an investment between 4 and 6 trillion. That is money. That means finance is needed. And we ourselves believe that innovation in technology can help us get there. But we do believe that the cooperation with the private sector is of the essence. And therefore, we call on all of you to participate in this Techsprint this year.
Thank you, Benedict, for this introduction. Now I will turn to Fabio. Fabio, can you shed some light on the underlying theme of this year's Techsprint, Sustainable Finance, and how the problem statements were identified and how they connect with our own our own technology agenda here at the Central Bank?
Thanks, Maria Beatriz. Thanks for everybody here present in the auditorium and for those that are watching us in the channel of the bank in YouTube. I think that it's important to stress that the problem statements came from a discussion based on the priorities of the G20 this year. And as it was said, and I think it's never too much, we focus on building a more just world and a sustainable planet. And then taking the priorities laid out by the Sustainable Finance Working Group and SDGs in general, we discuss with partners at the BIS Innovation Hub and other partners to try to focus on the problems, the general problems of optimizing the operations of international environment and climate funds to deliver a sustainable finance environment for all the stakeholders. Also to advance the credible and robust and just transition plans. We are all, as all the countries are building transition plans to a greener economy, and the financial world is going to be fundamental for that. Also, it's very important to analyze the challenges that are in the way of getting a sustainability report that are reliable and transparent, including the information that comes from the small and medium entrepreneurs and farmers and families, and the data from emerging and developing markets. It's very important because, as it was mentioned before, the South Globe is the Global South is a target for this financing project, and the transparency is very important to keep these assets valuable for the international community. And finally, the final objective is to finance nature-based solutions, and that's what we are here to discuss, how to use financial technology to make the funds to get to those projects. That's a very important thing. In this collaboration with the BIS Innovation Hub from Hong Kong and the CVM, we decided the 3 problem statements that are being presented today. And we also gathered some feedback from the G20, I think, for the participants for that. And finally, how this connects to our tech agenda. We have the sustainability in our PC hash agenda. It's natural to explore that. But apart from that, it meets with our digital assets agenda, and that's why I'm here. We are building this digital public infrastructure called DRAX, where we provide a space for tokenized assets, and we think that this is going to be very useful for promoting green finance in Brazil and abroad.
Thank you, Fabio. Nathalie, I think the audience is also keen to know how the Techsprint connects to the CVM agenda. Could you also comment on the partnership between the central bank and the CVM and the importance of this alignment between regulators for the development of sustainable finance?
Sure. Thank you, Beatriz. Hello, everyone. I'm honored to be here participating in this panel. And on behalf of CVM, I would like to thank the organizers, BCB and BIS, for the opportunity to participating in the Techsprint. Well, I think I will start saying that the CVM truly believes that the future is green and digital. So innovation and sustainable finance are important pillars in our agenda. And as being part of the financial system, we understand that we have a key role in developing this new investment culture, and which requires a collective effort. So recently, the CVM and the BCB strengthened the conversations to push forward sustainability agenda in Brazil, also considering the benefits of applying novel technology solutions in this process. And the CVM collaboration in the Techsprint is an important first step of our partnership with the BCB. And CVM foresees this partnership as an opportunity to address common challenges and to develop more efficient market infrastructure to accommodate sustainable investments. And we want to do that while preserving the market integrity and protection of investors and consumers. In other words, mitigating the risks of greenwashing. And we have to agree that novel technology solutions are important allies in this effort. Also, it's important to mention that the Techsprint objectives are fully aligned to the CVM Sustainable Finance Action Plan, which was launched in October last year. This is a very executive document consisting of 4 pillars and 17 initiatives. Among the initiatives, I would highlight capacity building, foster transparency by improving disclosure requirements on sustainability and climate-related disclosures, identify best practices in data collection, measurement, and reporting of ESG risks and opportunities. And finally, we are proposing new regulations to scale up sustainable finance products. So given this landscape, it's very clear that security issuers will have to deal with a large volume of data. They will have to manage risks and measure KPIs and also provides accountability. It's also important to facilitate certification processes for sustainable assets and guarantee immutability, traceability, standardization. And I believe that blockchain solutions, tokenization, and other solutions are very important tools here. So in my opinion, innovation and technology are pivotal to make sustainable finance a reality. And to wrap up here, I just want to say one more time that the CVM really appreciates the opportunity to collaborate in the Techsprint. And we are looking forward to receiving the proposals. Thank you, Beatriz.
Thank you, Nathalie, and thank you all for this background. Let's move on to this year's challenges. Fabio, could you please tell us about the organizers' expectations on the first problem statement, nature-based solutions, where we look for novel technology to foster investments in biodiversity and nature-related preservation?
Sure. Well, this is a Techsprint, then we are looking for technological solutions for these problems. As Nathalie said, the future is green and digital. Then we are trying to put this together in order to incentivize and to attract sustainable and inclusive investment focused on preserving biodiversity and the nature in general. And we are doing that in order to achieve sustainable economic growth. That's a very important aspect. We need to match that with a healthy and prosperous future for all the countries and for the planet. And we think that this green agenda matched with the financial channels that we are building that are more efficient can help us to achieve that. But there are several challenges that we need to overcome to get there. We have the difficulty of tracing the information and measuring the impact of each operation. There is the risk of losing your investment or greenwashing. Something that looks like a green asset, a green investment, is not sustainable at all. We need to make sure that we are channeling these funds to projects that are going to have impact in our communities and in the preservation of our planet. And for that, we are looking for solutions based on tokenized assets and other technologies that we think that it opens up the space for investors. Today, most of the green assets, they are, at least here in Brazil, tied up with an institutional investor. The pricing is very difficult. There is no secondary market for that. Then it's very hard to trade that, and there is this long run risk that needs to be tackled. In an open platform, people can have access beyond the institutional investors, giving more liquidity and a fair price for those assets. We also would like to enable micro investments, people, the youth that are invested in this green agenda, that they sometimes would like to access these assets, but they don't have access to this in the formal market. And these micro investments reaching the families and the small and medium entrepreneurs and farmers, it's a very achievable objective using the technology of tokenization. You can divide the assets on the investor side and on the demand side of these funds. It's very good for the decentralization of these funds. And I think this is very important also. Sorry, I'm saying important too much, but
because it's important.
Yeah, because it is. And also we want people to use the GIS, the Geographic Information System, and satellite imagery to track the evolution of these projects, to apply artificial intelligence and other technologies to make sure that the information that is registered in the digital assets correspond to the reality. And at the end of the day, we want to address these challenges of reducing the cost and sharing the risks of these investments and contributing to mobilize the public and the private funding to achieve the final user, the small farmers, the small families, and small entrepreneurs, to make sure that we pair this economic growth and a sustainable future. Thank you.
Thank you for that, Fabio. Back to you, Benedict. Can you give us a broader context on the second problem statement, where we ask for novel technology solutions to improve the quality, the reliability, and the granularity of ESG data?
Thank you. Yes, I will dissect this into 4 different aspects or buckets that we're focused on. So first of all, what are we focused on? We're focused on obtaining ESG data. And as you mentioned, we're looking for data that are high quality, reliable, and granular, and across the three scopes, scopes 1, scope 2, scope 3. Then we are asking that be done in a specific way. So first was the what, the ESG data. Second is the how. The how is through the use of technology. And three leading technologies in this case are AI, IoT, and blockchain. And we have cited some more technologies, some of which were also just mentioned by Fabio. Then the question is, why are we doing this? And we're trying to get these data in specific through the use of such advanced technologies for the purpose of disclosure, due diligence, and risk management. And then fourthly, it is by whom? By whom? It is for the disclosure of information by large corporates, including scope 3 in supply chains, due diligence by investors, again, across the three scopes, and risk management, including by the central banks and the supervisors, as well as securities regulators who are also here around the table. So as said, this problem statement can be viewed as having a what, a how, a why, and a by whom. And I hope that's clear.
Thank you. Very clear, Benedict. Nathalie, on to problem statement number 3. Can you give us some color on it? On Sustainable Development Goals, where we are calling for open source, data-driven technology solutions that can be used to support financial decisions and capital allocations that are aligned with SDG goals, in which financial education and inclusion are enablers. And perhaps it would also be helpful, Nathalie, if you could give us an overview of the current challenges facing this topic and how technology can help move us forward.
Yes, sure. Financial education and inclusion are definitely important enablers to sustainable development goals, and I would like to focus on the part. According to OECD's surveys, financial literacy has been recognized at a global level as a core skill for supporting society's financial well-being. Also, I would say that we noticed a spread of digital financial services, especially during the pandemic, which underscores the need to provide investors with adequate knowledge to use those digital financial services properly and safely. And in Brazil, as you can imagine, we have low levels of financial education and inclusion, and it's urgent that we bridge those gaps. So although there are initiatives in place, we still have some challenges to address, and I would like to highlight some of them. So first, I would say that there is a great concentration of educational initiatives in the largest cities of the country, which end up impacting adults with higher levels of education rather than the most economically vulnerable groups. Also, there are relevant barriers such as the lack of internet or limited internet access in some regions of the country, especially the northern region of Brazil. And also, I would say there is a lack of mapping and disseminating information on educational initiatives and SDG projects in general. So in my opinion, it's crucial that we can start building a pipeline of SDG projects. And this requires also, in my opinion, mapping and disseminating information in open source platform where potential investors and financial institutions can find reliable data to make decisions. Thank you.
Great, Nathalie. After having finished the explanations on the problem statements, I would ask Fabio to explain how the Techsprint works, what its schedule is, the due dates, the prizes, and where participants can get more information and apply?
Well, the registration process starts today, and it goes all during May until the end of the month. And there are some stages that we are going to go through, but I would like to say, if you want to participate, you should access the APIX webpage, the APIX page, and register for the Techsprint to submit your proposal and to answer the Techsprint questions, along with providing the requested documentation. And the Techsprint is divided in some stages. There's a short listing. We are going to select the participants. It's going to be 5 per problem statement. And after that, it's going to start a solution development stage where the participants are going to work on the proposals that were shortlisted. And we are going to have intermediary meetings where the participants can seek for information, for feedbacks from the participants in the Techsprint, from the Central Bank of Brazil, from the BIS, from other central banks and other experts that are going to be participating of this process. And finally, we are going to make the final evaluation and announce the winners in November in a presidential event here in Brazil in November of this year. The winner of each category is going to get $25,000 as prize, and those that are shortlisted are going to receive $5,000 as a stipend to compensate for part of their development costs. I think this is a great opportunity for all the fintechs and startups in Brazil and globally to discuss the subjects and to interact with each other and to the regulators and to innovators in the government, in the private sector. And I'm really awaiting for your proposals to analyze. Thank you.
Thank you, Fabio, for that information. Benedict, to you for a final questions. Can you tell us who can apply and what participants can expect from this year's Techsprint?
Thank you. So, in fact, this Techsprint is open to everyone. So it is open to individuals, registered companies, startups, larger companies, smaller companies, big teams, small teams. It doesn't matter. It's open to all. It comes at no cost, so it is a free application. And as explained by Fabio, there are prizes that you can obtain. In addition to that, as I mentioned at the beginning, it is a unique opportunity to make your solution and your voice heard on these exciting topics: nature, SDG, ESG, exciting. And in addition to that, you also will have the opportunity to be showcased at the finals. We also tend to invite you to other events and opportunities when they happen. So we look forward in sum to seeing your applications and to going on this journey with you. And we look forward to showcasing the shortlisted and the winners later this year and in many more months to come. Thank you.
Thank you, Benedict, and thank you to all our 3 panelists for their very insightful remarks here today. I'm sure the participants got a good overview on the scheme, the problem statements, rewards, and the way forward. However, should you need more information, please access the link, the APIX links that Fabio referenced, and that's on our background slide. Thank you.
Thank you, moderator and panelists, for that insightful discussion, which I'm sure has provided a lot of clarity to the prospective participants in terms of problem statements and instructions on how to apply. We will now hear the closing remarks by Mr. Paulo Piketty, Banco Central do Brasil's Deputy Governor for International Affairs and Corporate Risk Management.
Thank you. We're coming to the end of the event for launching the Techsprint 2024. And we're very happy on behalf of the Brazilian G20 presidency to launch this event, because even though we know that innovation is the main driver behind the increase in human well-being, it is always ridden with uncertainties and risks. So we cherish this opportunity to try to steer it in the direction of very worthwhile and relevant goals such as sustainability and inclusion. And we expect to receive very high quality submissions for this competition. And we also ask everybody who's present here today to disseminate this information about this event across the G20 community and beyond. So finally, I will take my last time to give credit where credit is due. So first and foremost, my sincere thanks to our Governor, Roberto Campos de Oliveira Neto, for his enthusiasm in all things technological, his guidance and support in organizing this event, and for delivering the keynote address. I thank Augustin Carstens, General Manager of the BIS, for the active support of the BIS on central bank challenges. And my sincere thanks to Mrs. Benedict Nolens, Head of the BIS Innovation Hub, and her team for their support and coordination, along with our own BCB staff in putting in place the G20 Techsprint 2024, including the organization of this event. I would also like to thank our supporters. I will start by thanking Ilan Goldfein, presidents of the IDB, for the bank's immeasurable efforts in the development of sustainable and finance, and for their support to the Brazil in the presidency of the G20. In particularly, I would like to express our gratitude to the IDB and IDB Lab for their collaboration with the G20 Techsprint 2024. I would also like to give my thanks to FENASBAC, which from the moment we started working on this initiative has proved to be an invaluable partner. Our thanks to the CVM, which as a fellow regulator has partnered with us many times before and is once again working with us. I also thank Brazil's G20 representatives and those from member countries, the staff at the BIS officials from other international organizations, and each and every one of those involved and present in this event, which is the culmination of many discussions throughout the last months between the Brazilian Central Bank and the BIS Innovation Hub, Hong Kong. I thank the media houses for their coverage of this important event, and the technical support provided by the vendors is also acknowledged. Thank you, and good luck to all participants.
Thank you very much, Deputy Governor. Ladies and gentlemen, we have come to the end of the launch of the G20 Techsprint 2024. Our thanks to all of the Banco Central do Brasil and the BIS Innovation Hub teams that have made this event possible. Our thanks to the technical crew, our communications team, the translation team. Once again, our thanks to the BIS Innovation Center, the IDB, the FENASBAC, and the Brazilian CVM. Our thanks to all of you who have honored us with your presence online or in person today. Should you have further questions, please visit the G20 Techsprint 2024 website. Thank you so much for your time and attention.